My name is Maya, and for 3 years, I let my own family believe I was broke and worthless. I ate their scraps, wore their pity like a second skin, and endured their cruelty. All while the fortune in my secret account grew. Today, I'm going to tell them everything. My name is Maya, and the dress felt like a costume. It was my one good dress, a thrift store find I'd saved for. I smoothed the slightly synthetic fabric, taking a deep breath before walking into the country club for Chloe's engagement party. The room screamed money. My parents, Tyler and Linda, had clearly pulled out all the stops. I spotted my brother, Mason, and his wife, Hannah, by the champagne tower. Mason's eyes raked over me, and he leaned into Hannah, whispering. Her resulting giggle was a sharp little dagger. Well, look who made it, Mason said as I approached. Was the bus running late? I drove, actually, I said, keeping my voice even. That old thing still runs? Hannah chimed in, her smile sweet but her eyes cruel. You're brave. I just nodded, moving away. Their laughter followed me. I found a quiet corner near a potted fern, close enough to the main seating area to overhear. My mom was talking to Aunt Karen, her voice a carrying, dramatic whisper. Just worried about her, Karen. She's struggling. A bit lost, you know? Not like Chloe. Chloe has such direction. What's she doing again? Aunt Karen asked. Some online thing. Freelancing, I think. It doesn't sound stable. We help where we can, of course, but she has to want to help herself. The words, a bit lost, delivered with that sigh of embarrassed pity, hollowed me out. I was freelancing. Successfully. Very. I saw Chloe then, radiant in a custom blush pink gown, her fiancé Ben's arm around her. I pushed my hurt down and walked over, forcing a smile. Chloe, congratulations. The party is beautiful. She turned, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. Maya. You're here. She detached herself from Ben and took my elbow, steering me a few steps away from his wealthy-looking parents. Listen, she said, her voice low and cold. I need to ask you a favor. Of course, anything. Just, mind the vibe tonight, okay? Her gaze flickered over my dress. Ben's family is here. The Harpers. They're important. So maybe don't talk too much about your whole situation. The minimum wage life, the car troubles. It's a bit of a downer. I felt the air leave my lungs. My situation? You know what I mean. Just keep it light. For me. She gave my arm a patronizing squeeze. Behind her, Ben watched, a faint smirk on his face. Something inside me broke. Not with a shatter, but with a final, clean snap. The last thread of hope I'd been clinging to, that they loved me, not just my potential, vanished. The love I'd been forcing, the desperate need for their approval, it curdled. It hardened into something cold and clear and solid in my chest. I looked at my sister's perfectly made-up face, at Ben's smirk, at my parents across the room laughing with the Harpers. Sure, Chloe, I heard myself say, my voice strangely calm. Light. I can do that. I walked away, my heart a stone in my chest. The game wasn't over. But it would be. And I would be the one to end it. On my terms. I started planning reveal day right then, amidst the clinking glasses and their oblivious laughter. The year that followed was a silent, secret war. Every Sunday dinner was a mission. You need a 5-year plan, Maya, my dad, Tyler, said one night, pointing his fork at me. Not this, gig work. Financial responsibility is stability. Look at Mason. Mason puffed up. Yeah, my portfolio's up 15% this quarter. That's wonderful, honey, my mom, Linda, beamed. She turned to me. Chloe's wedding planner, Isabel, is just a genius. She sourced these perfect, rare orchids. Of course, excellence has its price. I'm sure, I said, pushing my food around. Later, Hannah cornered me in the kitchen. I was cleaning out my closet, she chirped, holding out a bag. These are a few seasons old, but they're nice quality. Thought you could use them. I took the bag of her cast-offs. Thanks, Hannah. That's really thoughtful. My smile felt plastic, but she bought it. Of course. We have to look out for each other. In my real life, I was closing deals. My digital marketing agency, run under a pseudonym, was booming. My phone buzzed constantly with client approvals and bank transfer notifications. Zoe, my best friend since college and my only confidant, was my command center. We were in my small, rented apartment, surrounded by takeout containers. The Balmain or the Valentino? Zoe asked, holding up her laptop screen. I glanced at the stunning gowns. The Valentino. It's quieter. More powerful. Perfect. I'll handle the order. The penthouse viewing is set for next week. 6-month lease, furnished, skyline view. It's insane. Good, I said, my eyes on my own laptop screen, tracking another deposit. Everything has to be ready. Are you okay? Zoe's voice softened. This is brutal. I thought of last weekend. Chloe was visiting, so I got the lumpy pull-out couch. I heard my mom at breakfast. You take the guest room, sweetheart. You need your rest for all the planning. Maya doesn't mind the couch, do you? I don't mind, I'd said. See? She's easygoing. Every dig, every dismissed opinion, every pitying look, I collected them. I filed them away in a mental vault. The money in my account was power, but this pain was my fuel. It burned clean, propelling me forward. I'm fine, I told Zoe, closing my laptop. I'm just building something they can't ignore. The next family dinner, the comparisons continued. Mason's getting a new title, Senior Vice President, Mom announced. Congratulations, I said, my tone flat. You'll get there, Maya, Mason said, condescension dripping. Maybe start by applying for a manager position somewhere. Anything with benefits. I'll look into it, I lied smoothly. Later, alone in my apartment, I opened the secret savings account. The number was staggering. I transferred another large sum, watching the balance grow. This wasn't just money. It was my arsenal. My freedom. Every slight, every patronizing lecture, every donated blouse had been converted into this silent, growing force. I was a ghost in their world, a quiet, desperate figure they thought they knew. But in the shadows, I was building a fortress. And soon, I'd open the gates and let them see exactly what their lost girl had become. My old car coughed to a stop in the valet line, a stark joke against the sea of luxury vehicles. I smoothed the simple, lavender dress I knew they'd expect and walked into the cathedral. The day was a performance. I helped Chloe's flustered bridesmaid, Jessica, pin a stray curl. Thanks, Maya, Jessica sighed. You're always so calm. I just smiled. In photos, I stood at the end, a quiet blur. My mom patted my shoulder. You look nice, dear. That color is gentle. I nodded. Thanks, Mom. At the reception, the toasts began. Ben's father spoke of legacy. My dad talked about Chloe's sparkle. Then Mason stood up, glass in hand, a familiar, mocking glint in his eye. To my baby sister, Chloe, and my new brother, Ben, he began. May your life together be filled with only the best. The finest things. The greatest successes. He paused, his gaze sliding to me, a smirk playing on his lips. Unlike some of us who are still, well, figuring it out. The family table erupted. It wasn't full laughter, but a sharp, awkward burst, a chorus of recognition. My dad chuckled into his napkin. Hannah covered her mouth, her shoulders shaking. My mother's eyes darted to me with pained sympathy, which was worse. The sound of it, that collective agreement at my expense, was my trigger. It snapped the final chain. As the uncomfortable tittering died, I stood. My chair didn't scrape. The room hushed, a sea of faces turning to me, expecting a fumbling, emotional retort. I walked to the podium. I took the microphone. My hand was steady. I have a toast, too, I said. My voice was calm, clear, and it carried to the back. I looked directly at Chloe, radiant and confused in her white gown, then at my parents. Thank you, I started. A murmur went through the crowd. For 3 years, you've shown me, with absolute clarity, exactly who you are. You taught me that in this family, love has a price tag. It's measured by promotions, by designer labels, by the right kind of success. I let the words hang. So, consider my debt paid in full. My dad's face was turning red. Maya, what is this? The girl you think is here? I continued, cutting him off. The broke one, the lost cause, the one who's still figuring it out. I made air quotes, my eyes locking with Mason's. She doesn't exist. I've been pretending. Every single day. The silence was absolute now, a physical weight. Tomorrow, I said, slowly, ensuring every syllable landed. You are all invited to see the truth. 1 o'clock. I'll text the address. I placed the microphone back on the stand with a soft thud. I didn't look at Chloe's horrified face, or my mother's trembling hand. I turned and walked across the ballroom floor, my heels clicking in the void of silence. I felt Zoe's proud, fierce gaze from her table near the back as I pushed through the heavy doors, leaving the shockwaves to ripple out behind me. They arrived exactly at 1, a tense, disbelieving cluster in the marble lobby of the Orion Tower. I buzzed them up. I opened the penthouse door. I wore the simple, devastatingly expensive cream Valentino suit. The wall of windows behind me framed the city in a breathtaking panorama. The shock on their faces was my first reward. My mother's hand flew to her mouth. Oh, my God. My father, Tyler, turned a deep, mottled red. What is this place? Mason just sputtered, staring. How? But it was Chloe's face I watched. The envy was instant, visceral, turning her expression sickly pale beneath her perfect makeup. She was still in yesterday's brunch attire. I was in tomorrow's piece. Come in, I said, my voice calm. We have things to discuss. They shuffled into the vast, sun-drenched living room, looking small and out of place. Is this a rental? Hannah whispered, her voice full of a strange, hopeful spite. For a photo shoot. It's mine for the next 6 months. A short-term lease. I gestured to the sleek sofa. Please, sit. My father remained standing, puffing up. Explain this nonsense, Maya. Now. Gladly. I picked up a tablet from the glass coffee table. 3 years ago, I started a digital marketing agency. I used a pseudonym. Last year's net profit was just over $2 million. I turned the screen, showing a verified financial dashboard. This is the gig work, Dad. My 5-year plan. The color drained from his face. Mason leaned forward, squinting at the numbers as if they'd change. The why is simpler, I continued, setting the tablet down. I needed to know. After a lifetime of your comparisons, after Chloe told me at her engagement party to hide my minimum wage life as a favor, I needed to know if you loved me, or just my potential to make you look good. That's not fair. Chloe burst out, tears of fury in her eyes. You've lied to us. 4 years. I mirrored what you showed me, I said, my gaze level. Conditional interest. I gave you exactly the version of me you seemed to want. My mother, Linda, found her voice, trembling with tears. How could you do this to us? This cruel charade? We've worried ourselves sick. There it is, I thought. The victimhood. You worried about how my struggles reflected on you, I corrected softly. There's a difference. You're ungrateful, my father boomed. After everything we've done. You're right, I said, and the word stopped him. I am ungrateful. For your conditional love. For your disdain. I'm done being grateful for scraps. The fight seemed to leave them then, replaced by a dawning, hollow realization. The power had irrevocably shifted. So that's it. Mason muttered, deflated. That's it. I walked to the foyer table and picked up a single, cream envelope. This is for you, Chloe. She took it warily, pulling out the check. Her eyes widened at the amount, more than generous. A year of her salary. A wedding gift, I said. From the sister you never saw. No strings. No debt. It wasn't for reconciliation. It was my final, quiet act of power. Giving from a place of absolute abundance, not the scarcity they'd always assigned to me. They left then, a broken parade. No goodbyes. Just the soft click of the door closing behind them. The silence that filled the sunlit space wasn't empty. It was clean. It was full of my own breath, my own peace, a future I had built with my own 2 hands. The girl who pretended was gone. Only Maya remained. And she was finally, completely, enough.